I need not tell you that no other species has that faculty of sharing knowledge, which is a very noble task. Giving advice to another person is a very praiseworthy thing. The organizers, Sri Dhanya, Knowledge Care, deserve all the congratulations for this. My respects and regards to them. I have a suggestion to them. I was talking to Mr. Ilangu at the start and Mr. Gopal. Do you pronounce it as Sri Dhanya or Sri Dhanya? They said it is Sri Dhanya, sir. They explained why the origin of the name. I wish it is Sri Dhanya because Dhanya means seed. What they are doing is sowing seeds of knowledge. So they deserve a praise for their activities, and I would like to give my hats off to them. I also want to set the tone for this workshop for the next 2 days, over the next 2 days. I assume this right on myself. Please, as you sit along and listen and then share your knowledge, please keep pondering why this situation has come about. Why are we talking about a new act? Mr. Arvind Nayaki was talking about since 1956 there has been no change. We are getting a new act and all. That's a rare opportunity. Yes, it is. In India, it's quite common for governments to fiddle with the law. Every year they will make some announcement, some changes, some amendments or the other. We are quite familiar. But it is indeed rare that they scrap a whole enactment and bring in something in substitute. That is a fairly rare occurrence. So it is one such occasion, a rare occasion. So we need to examine why has this come about. So keep this at the back of your mind as you look at these various provisions of this. It was just 2 days back, the Reserve Bank of India came up with an announcement. They said that we are withdrawing from currency notes prior to 2005 in circulation. Why? Why are they doing it? They want to reduce the opportunities, the scope for certain frauds. Why is the old Companies Act is being withdrawn and being substituted by another act? Not exactly a very comparable situation, but there is a little bit of likeness. The old act deserved changes because much water has flown under the bridge. Since 1956, much water has flown under the bridge, and we have had many changes in the corporate business environment. We need to recognize those changes, recognize the need for such changes, and therefore we need to do this. That has been the purpose of the act. It's worthwhile also pondering over what have been these changes. As I look back, my limited experience tells me that over these years, what has significantly changed, what has significantly happened. One is, of course, greater globalization of Indian business. Indian corporates are now present in the global scene to a much larger degree than ever before. This has come into force very happily, which has meant prosperity for the country also, which is a wonderful thing to happen. But this at the same time has brought up an obligation on the part of Indian corporates to be on a par with these international citizens. It is extremely important. Very recently, I'm just recalling it as on top of my mind because I just came back from Singapore. I had to meet someone there, a foreign national, who has significant investments in India. And he made 2 points which I want to share with you. One, he said that while dealing with India, it is a personal comment, not that he was meaning any affront to anybody. He said, while dealing with India, we have a problem regarding transparency. So what he felt, he said that whatever is given by way of corporate information, which includes annual reports, whatever, etc., they require a greater degree of transparency. That was one point that he made. So there is need for plugging that anxiety. So that is one another factor which is relevant that the new act must address. And third, the other point which he said was that we are afraid of frequent changes in law. This was a very genuine concern. They are all concerned about changes that the government makes, retrospective changes which the government makes, which is a sad thing. Why should they do it? They have their own reasons, political, economic, commercial, regulatory, whatever. But then this is causing concern with the international business community. So therefore, these kind of changes in environment, we need to strengthen the corporate law. It's been the basic purpose. So that should be the tenor of your interpretation of any new provisions of the new act, etc., etc. And of course, it is common knowledge that we have had quite in the recent past some corporate securities and other scams. Let's not mention any particular names, but these have really caused again, brought in a need for a change way of corporate governance. Then of course, corporate social responsibility. Aranjan Naik was referring to that. We need to make these corporates more responsible for their social obligations. Fair enough. And these days we talk about green credits and this and that. People are internationally conscious of companies, enterprises utilizing natural resources but not giving back to the society. So they should give back in some manner. Is a sign of development of human society. Our company law should move in tune. C is a very important provision which says that every company should set apart some percentage of their profits for corporate social responsibility activities. Now this is debatable. Debatable in the sense there is no use in debating because it has become law. The rules are also going to be very shortly there and all that, yes. But then what is annoying is that this is the first time that the government seeks to tell the corporates, this is how you should spend money. I think the purpose or objective of company law is not to tell how the shareholders should spend their money. The basic tenor of the law is shareholders are the supreme body. They have a disposal of their funds, monies, finances of the company, and they have every right to spend them, divert them in the manner that they like. There need not be any external compulsion. If the government wants revenues, there are other enactments. Enough number of tax legislations are there through which government can mobilize money. Why should the government try to tell the shareholders that they should spend a certain part of their money? Is a very genuine concern that corporates have. Corporate boards, to the extent that I've been exposed to a few of them, they all have this anxiety. Why should they comment? And mind you, these are not corporates which are afraid of spending. These are corporates which are already spending on social responsibility without any legal obligation. They are doing themselves, not because the law wanted it. They have been running schools, they have been running colleges, they have been running institutions of learning. Everything has been done. But then they resent this kind of an intrusion by the government into this kind of. So like these changes are happening. Of course, we cannot make the law or we cannot amend the law, but then we constitute a powerful influence lobby, and we should remember this always and try to see how best the objective of the act and the activities of the corporates are tuned together. Please keep this at the back of your mind as you keep spending 2 days on deliberations of various specific provisions, details of which I am not competent to discuss with you. But especially to the younger members, students here, I mean, I see that here we have a cross-section of people whose experience is tremendous, and there are people also who are youngsters. To those youngsters, I would like to mention this. Make these 2 days, learn through these 2 days how to effectively share this knowledge with the rest of the world. I classified the rest of the world into 2 compartments: professional audience and neutral professional audience. Professional in the same like profession, CAs or cost accountants or company secretaries who have some knowledge of corporate laws. There you can talk to them about this section, that section, compliance, one related, one versus the other, and all those things you can talk, old versus new, and all that you can talk. But you also have talked to neutral professionals. When you sit in company boards, when you get access to company boards, you become members of the board, secretaries or whatever, or you are advising the secretary, the companies and all that, you will find very often you deal with professionals from other kind, not necessarily corporate law professionals. To them, if you quote a particular section number, they are annoyed. You talk to them about why you must have independent directors, why does the law say you must spend on corporate social responsibility, why is there a need for have women directors on the board. All those things, you must be able to talk to them in the manner that they understand and appeal the purpose behind it and the regulations behind it. Regulations are important, but don't make them very technical. These require two different channels of communication. Very often that has been my problem. I'm saying that because it has been my problem at sometimes chairman of companies, directors of companies at the board meeting, you go and say, sir, this is the director's report, please sign. I can't tell them. So they have to read and they ask questions. Why do you have to disclose information about the power consumed? Why should there be a cost audit of a company? All those questions they ask. The time you have to respond is hardly 1 minute. You can't give them a lecture, you can't give them a PowerPoint presentation and then say this is why it is done. So that kind of facility is what you must acquire. It doesn't come overnight, but I'm saying please focus on that. So this is the way that I think the overall deliberations, I would like them to go. And in between, you have excellent faculty. You have people here who can talk about these sections and the provisions in a very, very expert manner. I'm sure from the audience also there could be wonderful participation because all of you have, I think most of you have a lot of experience on their own. So I'm quite sure that the 2 days will make a very meaningful sharing of knowledge session, which I come back to that, which is a great exercise. So I wish to say, wish to pray that let this workshop go on very smoothly and purposefully. The second is announced. What I said is right. This is T20. Not only they fix this match, they fix the next and the next and the next. So therefore, I wish this activity as well as all the future activities, all the great success. And personally, once again, I thank everyone. I thank Gopal Krishna for all the nice words he spoke about it. He posed a problem to me. He talked so much about the introduction, so long, that my speech at least has got to be a little longer than that. Otherwise, it would have been a big problem for me. I thank him for all that. One never ceases to be a student. What is not a teacher-student relationship, it is information sharing relationship. That's extremely important. With that in focus, I wish this workshop all the great success. May good things happen. May this new Companies Act 2013 be Rama and not Ravana. Thank you.
Sampath sir. Maybe I am reminded of a very, very beautiful old Tamil song by hearing both the guests here. பார்க்க தெரிந்தால் பாதை தெரியும், பார்த்து நடந்தால் பயணம் தொடரும், பயணம் தொடர்ந்தால் கதவு திறக்கும், கதவு திறந்தால் காட்சி கிடைக்கும், காட்சி கிடைத்தால் கவலை தீரும், கவலை தீர்ந்தால் வாழலாம். Maybe that's the stage where Companies Act 2013 takes us and also reminds this beautiful song. Now, our duty to honor our guest. May I now invite CAM Srinivasan sir, Senior Partner of